All of us have had individual plays where our aim feels like it should make us the newest pro player on the scene. But how do we get to the point where our aim feels this dialed in all the time? Practice. And the best way to practice your aim in a way that will help you every day is to have a quick but effective warm-up routine. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Valued, and today we're going to talk about the absolute best ways to warm up and go over some specific drills and practices that you can use to make sure you're ready to fry. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Warming up should be seen as another thing you're doing to improve your mechanics, as well as ensure you're ready to perform the second you enter a match. There's most definitely a warm-up period for most of us when we hop on the game, and taking the time to work that out before ever hopping into high-stakes matches is a must. But even one step further than that, warming up should be seen as your practice routine that happens to be scheduled right before your games. Using your warm-up time as your aim training time as well is a great way to make sure you're sticking to two very key aspects of your improvement. If you aren't warming up at all for matches you care about winning, you're really not doing yourself any favors. Everyone goes about warming up differently, from the firing range and arenas to public matches and Aimlab. But the bottom line is you definitely should be doing some sort of warm-up before hopping into ranked matches. So with this in mind, let's get into some quick ways that you can warm up while also fine-tuning important aspects of your aim. Starting off in the firing range, this is a great place to get some aim practice in and get practice on every gun in the game. Between dummies, the black targets near the dummies, and the targets at different distances throughout the range, you have some solid tools to build a wide variety of warm-up routines. It's important to stay creative and just have fun with finding ways to challenge yourself with what you have available in the game. If you have a hard time with this creativity, no worries. Let's go over a couple of my favorite ways to warm up in the firing range. The two primary methods of aim that we use in Apex are tracking and flick aim. So when I'm looking for ways to warm up, I'm putting a focus on one of those two aspects of my aim in some sort of a way. Starting off with flick aiming, it's important to find a way to force yourself to move fast while being precise, and this drill is perfect for just that. Grab a wingman with a gold mag and head over to one of the training dummies. Stand just in front of the dummy so that you can just see two black targets on either side of you. From here, go for a headshot on the dummy, then snap to the closest left target, then back to the dummy, then the right target, then do this pattern again, but using the outside black targets. You can keep cycling through this pattern quickly, and it really forces you to do some drastic flicks while maintaining high accuracy to hit the headshots. You should be looking to keep the targets on the sides knocked down as often as possible. And if you kill the dummy, you can keep going back and forth between the targets until it respawns. If you can hit these shots with the wingman, then all your other crack aiming is going to be on point as well. Moving on to tracking, I like to use the targets in the back of the range, making sure that I have some good distance from them to force me to be accurate with my shots. I like doing this with an R99 with a gold bag, forcing me to focus on recoil control a ton to hit my shots. The tougher you can make it on yourself, the better. You should be looking to hit large damage chunks on these targets. I think we're all playing on stacking numbers by now, so you should be looking to hit at least 100 damage chunks, with the goal being over 200 per clip. If you aren't getting these stacks, it's because you're missing shots. So use this UI feedback to your advantage and see if you can get yourself hitting 250 damage chunks every time. Now guys, you can also get creative here too, sliding down the hill as you go for these targets or strafing super hard to test your shot. Try out different weapons and targets, anything to make it your own and simulate real game situations. These two parts of your aim are at the core of every shot in Apex. But what you're really trying to do with all of this practice is become faster with your reaction time and target acquisition, and more precision with your actual shots in general. This is important to realize because you need to have this at the front of your mind while you're warming up. These two aspects are what you're lacking when you die off drop in your warm-up game, and these parts of your mechanic are what you should be focused on when you're trying to improve your aim. It's up to you to keep an improvement mindset and be willing to put the time into things like warming up and preset practice drills. And it's up to you to actually test yourself, forcing yourself to be fast and holding yourself to a high standard. The firing range is great and can help you build a ton of scenarios for you to get practice, so be sure to use it. That being said, we've got to talk about a much better option available to anyone on PC, which is Aimlab. Unfortunately, for now, this is exclusive to PC, but Aimlab has a crazy amount of tasks to try, with all specially designed to help different parts of your aim. If you struggle with setting up drills yourself in the firing range, want more target and simulation options, or just want a ton of stat feedback on your performance, then you've got to give Aimlab a shot. But rather than blabbering on about the game, let me show you guys the drills that I personally like to run when I'm warming up and polishing my aim. So when it comes to warming up, you want to have a good variety in your session. So I'm going to be choosing one drill from every skill category in Aimlab: flicking, tracking, speed, and precision. Starting off with flicking, my go-to is always Grid Shot Ultimate. Running this drill right when I get on my setup really gets my aim moving and gets me in the flow of taking out targets fast. With a lot of targets always on screen, it's all about how fast you can go without missing shots, which makes it great for warming up. After giving this drill a couple of runs, I usually feel pretty warmed up and can move on to the rest of my warm-up routine. Moving into some strafing practice, my favorite drill here has got to be Strafe Shot Ultimate. It's nothing fancy, but it's a great way at slowing you down after the frantic pace of Grid Shot and forcing you to have some solid tracking. Having to hit each of the targets a few times for the burst is great, and they do some really tight strafes similar to Apex movement as well. If you can consistently 3-shot these targets, then you're going to be melting enemies at close ranges regardless of your weapon or their movement. So after I run Strafe Shot a few times, it's time to speed things back up a bit. Motion Shot in the speed section really forces you to be fast, with the second target always being on a very short timer. This one gets harder the better you do, giving you an infinite ceiling for how fast you can move through the targets. This drill is really similar to the flick aiming drill that I showed you guys with the wingman in the firing range. Except, thanks to Aimlab, we have a robust dynamic version of it with a crazy amount of stat tracking and feedback. Just saying. And finally, close out this warm-up session with Burst Flick in the precision section. This one is similar to Motion Shot, except instead of the secondary targets moving, they get smaller and give you less time to shoot them the better you do. I'll be honest, this one is basically a harder Motion Shot, but it really gives me a final test to prove to myself that I'm ready to dominate in a match of Apex. If I can feel confident about my aim on this drill, then beaming that ego-challenging Octane is going to be no problem. This drill is all about precision and speed, a perfect way to round out your warm-up. So guys, no matter your input or platform, the warm-up routines that I talked about today will have you dialing in your aim every single day before you get into matches, and improving every single day over time. The biggest thing is to stay consistent with your training, but also have fun. So get creative and make your own custom drills in the range, or download Aimlab and give some of their awesome drills a go. Anyway guys, it's been your boy Valued, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.